Hello there and welcome to this class, this Earth Stride Society class. And it's going to be on self-conscious and being self-conscious as a new runner. See, it's a worry that a lot of new people have when starting a new sport or starting a new activity, going out for the first time at a new place. The idea of being self-conscious can weigh very heavy on the mind. It can be very daunting and stop people almost in their tracks, and will stop you from ever trying or doing something new. With running, it is very apparent that self-consciousness is a big factor that has to come into your field of vision, really. You need to conquer it. Hopefully it doesn't even affect you at all, and you can just breeze past it. But for some, it is a big hurdle to get over, and being seen out running is, well, sometimes it can be very rewarding, especially when you get noticed and picked up on, like I have before. But it can be a weighing factor on you sometimes when you run past a group of people or along past traffic and you have the idea that people are looking at you and judging you. We live in a very judging society here, especially in the UK, where people take sides and people will look at you and potentially make comments or judge you in a way that you will feel uncomfortable with. But most of the time this isn't even happening at all, and it's actually happening in your head, and you need to get past that with the understanding and knowledge that it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter at all. I experienced this with going out running. I would go out first thing in the morning, and I would go out with my hair completely a mess, and the first sign of sweat that I produced, my body just goes red. It goes red, my hair brushes and curls up with the wind, it's all over the place, and I look an absolute state. And I'll run past cars, car windows, and I'll look at my reflection, and it got to a point where I no longer cared how bad I looked. And when I got in from the run and I would look in the mirror, I would see how bad I looked, and it didn't matter, because the pride of that run was so much bigger than the idea that people have just seen me running. And when you have to realize as well, when running, if a car's driving past you, it's a moment, it's a passing glance. If someone's looking outside their house window, it's nothing. It's a quick twist of the head and you're gone. The idea that someone can make a judgment on you that can be bigger than the one you have on yourself, that you yourself are improving, it's not even true. They can't affect you. They can't make a judgment call that can really affect you. If you are self-conscious of your body, if you feel like you are overweight and people make comment, or if you're a female and you're scared of people looking at you and potentially lusting over your body whilst you run, it's a disgusting thought to have on someone who is out bettering themselves. But it is possible that you feel that can happen to you in your area where you run. It is always a possibility that you can take someone's judgment glance and then make a million stories about it. I've done the same when people don't even care. I can advise that you plan your run specifically for a time. So you could run in the park where less people are during school hours when kids aren't nearby. You can run early hours in the evening as well, where the light is lower and people aren't going to be taking much interest in you and there won't be too many people around. Don't go near busy main roads if that's a problem for you, with people driving past and people looking out at you. Take quieter routes, perhaps. Woodland runs are especially great during springtime. People are going to get their dog walkers. It seems quite nice, actually, the thought of that. You need to realise that there are ways around your thought process. And what you will find as well is when you get your distance up and your running starts to improve, the thought of improvement will outweigh the feeling of judgment you have on yourself, because you now know how that feeling is to be excelling in something. The idea that you are now improving something, and that someone could possibly take that away from you with a passing thought or comment behind your back that you don't even know is happening, is laughable. It's a joke, because you become bulletproof. You become absolute bulletproof, and there will be comments made about you, and there will be stories made about you, and people will point and laugh, and it's all just a matter of experience. And you need to know that it is okay that you are doing this, and you will always have the support of people who are like-minded and well-spirited. The real people, the real true people you want to be listening to are the ones that see your journey for what it really is, and that is a journey of progress and a journey of just overall bettering yourself. The passing comments that could be made will just become nothing. You would just ignore them. You would just look down on them, because you now realise that what they're doing is just damaging themselves. Negative comments and negative thoughts will only weigh on the person that's making them. It tells a lot about them more than it does about you. What you can tell them is that you do not care by just ignoring it and carrying on with your run. One thing I was doing when I would run in the winter, when my hair would be a mess and I looked at absolute state of my raggedy clothes and just runny nose and drooling, I looked appalling. And I would wear hats, I would wear like a beanie to cover up, or a cap over in the summer with the visor. And I would run not in the blistering heat, where I just looked at absolute state. I looked appalling. Just gagging for water, gagging for air at the end of the day, struggling with my legs with going. And you just have to realise that you are out there doing it. You are battering yourself against the person you once were. It's a constant battle. And the people that aren't even stepping out their front door, who would rather make a comment about you, are losing that battle. They are. It's how far you've come on your journey. It's not how far you now are at. If you were to start your journey and just be an absolute professional, look like Superman as you're running down the street, yes, you will get the passing comments of good comments and great, wow, look at him, wow. But you know that person has not really worked to that. If you finish a run and you still look good, did you really go on a good run? That was another thing I could do. I could actually look at myself and go, bloody hell, I look appalling. Look how much work I've put in. My shirt is wringing wet. My forehead is dripping. Look how much work I've put in. And then you can look at yourself when you've lost that weight after months of running, and you can look at how you first went out when you went for your run, and you felt so self-conscious about your body and the way you looked, the way people would judge the way you looked out running. What is that person doing out running? Why are they out running? Look at them. But you can look back at that and be like, yes, that was me once, and that was how I felt once, but look how I feel now, and look what I look like now. And that's so much better than not even stepping out the door because one day someone might have made a comment about you. You will never ever reach that goal unless you take that step, and that step is not listening to people who judge. Well, hopefully I've given you a cool couple tricks there to just get around that feeling, like the park running, the judging of your hours when people aren't going to be out too much, and realising that if you do go out running and people are looking at you, 90% of the time, it's a thought of jealousy, it's a thought of pride, because they think, wow, look at that person, maybe I could go out and do that. My mum's felt the same. I know that when she sees people out running, it's just a feeling of, I bet I should really get into this, I should get into running. And she was the one that taught me about when people feel self-conscious to go find a quiet park area to go running, especially when the hours of the day are quite quiet, because that's when people aren't going to be there. You'll see mothers there with children, young children, and the old people walking around feeding the birds. I think that's a perfect audience to watch you progress. People who are going to be quiet with their thoughts and respectful with their voice. So take those ideas and work them to your own running. If you do feel the idea of being watched whilst performing is a burden on you. Thank you. If you could like and subscribe, that would be amazing actually. The Instagram is linked below along with the course to teach you how to run. That includes meditational breathing, natural running techniques, natural food dieting, outfit costs and what to avoid, along with stretch. It's just a big crash course with a big exam at the end. I wish you could check that out for me, that'd be brilliant. Thank you very much for watching.